Basically, you know, if you know how to choose, you can blend colors in an interesting way. Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how I use neutrals for the office. Let's start with what I'm wearing. Now, you'll see this dress. It's just a plain dress. You know, it's basically like a, simple dress. Black. You can get away with this dress if you accessorize it. I'm always trying to show you how you can accessorize. So I have some things. Now, first we're going to start out with what I'm wearing. And then I'll show you how you can mix it with other neutrals and then add a pop of color. So here's a slip. If you'll excuse me, I'm just going to put it on. I'm wearing black shoes too. But you'll see how fun it can be to play with neutrals, because the nice thing about neutrals is this is kind of a slip, but not really. It's a slip, but you can wear it as a real, like, skirt. So I put this underneath, because the dress I actually have is, it's one of those uneven hems. So, you know, it looks a little more too casual for the office. So I found this short, and I bought all these things over the years, not together. I bought them all separately from each other. But, having a few black pieces in your wardrobe can help you out. Now this is a sort of a little jacket that you can use, for the air conditioning. If it's summertime, the air conditioning here in Florida is on very high. Now maybe for the north, this wouldn't work in winter time. You would use heavier fabrics, but you get the idea. Or maybe not, even with this bathing suit material, you can still get away with it. You could tie it like this, it looks kind of informal. This actually comes with buttons on the inside, which I don't really feel like dealing with right now. And you could put it on like this. Or if you want to even take it a little step further, make it a little more formal. Right now they're selling a lot of these frilly blouses that they're in style this season. These other pieces I've had from previous years, but this season, and I thought that might look interesting, layering the blacks. You don't have any color, you just have black, so that can look kind of boring, but maybe you can make it interesting by layering. So see, I layer this, and by the way, faux pearls, just one good faux pearl necklace like this one, it goes with anything you wear to the office. It always makes it look a little more spruced up. Like this, and then you could, so already that's looking a little more interesting. And then you can even make it even more interesting by adding another layer. And they're all different layers, sort of like sometimes you get a haircut and your hair is cut in layers and it makes it look more interesting. It's the same with clothing. You can use layers of different lengths, and that can make it look kind of interesting. Again, you can button it like this. So that's one idea. And I'm wearing a black pair of shoes as well. So it's a very black outfit, which I don't encourage people to use black all the time, but sometimes if you're in a pickle, you got to get dressed quick. Black is kind of an easy color to turn to. You know that you're going to kind of match, and these shoes are not very exciting. They're just comfortable shoes, which they're rubber sole. They're not too. But now, so you have this, which you can use at the office, and actually get away with it. But, you can also take the basis of this outfit. Now I'll show you how you add a little pop of color to make it, the next day you might even get away with wearing the same base outfit and wear something else on top. Or maybe not the next day, but 2 or 3 days later. And it'll look like you're wearing a different outfit. And you maybe want to keep your closet not so full. You end up having just too much junk around. And in my case, I'm trying to minimize a little bit. So anyway, one thing you can do is put this on. Get one that you like, a color that you enjoy, and maybe throw something like this on. Again, it's interesting, it's adding a layer. have to put up my hair. I'm getting warm. And your body figure will also decide. I'm going to change my shoes as well. I'm going to add a pop of color with the shoes. I have these sort of blue shoes. Again, you got to be careful that they don't clash, but these can actually get away with it because they're blue-gray. So even though their color, they're really blue-gray, so they really are kind of neutral. They surprisingly go with a lot of outfits. So if you're a girl that's sort of a rectangular shape, you can wear this sort of, it's a kind of a gothic look, the one I was just wearing, you know, all black. And if you're, I'm not necessarily slender, but if you're a person who has sort of the same shape, same measurements as far as hips, waist, and bust, these kind of elongate you. If you're an apple shape, this can kind of elongate you, making sure that the clothes at least are a little bit, you know, I always throw in little tips for the plus size women. I think this would help an apple shaped woman because you might not have very large. If you have very large bust, it may or may not work. You'll have to try, because then sometimes they have these rules for if you're an apple shape, if you're a pear shape, etc. And then you find the twist that works for you. So you know your body better than anyone. But I think I was kind of an apple shape. Apple, maybe a little bit bigger on top than bottom when I was plus size. And I looked better with things that were loose on top and maybe a little snugger on the bottom, because the bottom I was still, actually I wasn't much bigger than I am now in the hips and legs. I was skinny downstairs and big upstairs. So I'm thinking this might work for you. And then of course the purse. You can choose pretty much any colored purse. I mean, with the black, of course, you can use any other color purse. I'm still peddling these. I sold the black one. You might have seen my last video about a year ago. But just to show you, these are brand new. They've been sitting there. I kind of put them in my Poshmark and haven't peddled them too much. But people are afraid of color sometimes. They go to black too much. So while I encourage black, like I said, in the way I just described, you know, encourage you to have a black dress for sure. The little black dress, that's definitely, if you're working in an office, a little black dress, or a long black dress in my case, a little black dress. I don't think that anything too high above the knee is appropriate for the office. For the formal offices, it would also, of course, depend what type of office you work at. An architectural firm, for example, is usually a little more artistic, or let's say you work for a fashion designer or some kind of creative graphic artist. In those offices, you could probably get away with really going outside of the box as far as dress but in the more formal offices, which I'm accustomed to, corporate banking and, you know, those type of things, they're rather formal offices. So, but any of these purses would match. But I'm going to just show you how long these purses last. This is a year old. I've been using it practically every day for a year, and it has gotten a little dirty. Now the leather is really well worked, so it's waterproof basically, the colored part. So you can just pass a rag over it, which I think I did quickly just before this video, but this is just to show you how sturdy and how they really do not wear out. I have this purse, which I sometimes use when I don't want to carry around too much. This definitely, it's not a color that's anywhere near this one, so you can actually, and then you have the neutral. Brown is also considered kind of a neutral color, relatively. So that's how you can play with the colors and make your outfits interesting. So have a look in my Poshmark shop if you're interested in any of these 2 bags that are for sale. And then I have a red one. I have one of these in red that's for sale as well. These are now mine. Because what I do is when I see something that I really like, I buy one for myself, and then I buy a few more because I figure if I like it, somebody else might like it. So Okay, on to the beige.